Happy Wellness Wednesday, my friend. It is your girl, Dana Brown here, your mentor for wealth, wellness, and walking by faith. I'm so excited to chat with you about a topic that has been like in my DMs now for a little while. And I've just noticed that there's definitely something that we all have in common, not just the fact that we are 40 and up, but it seems like we're all drinking the same water. Okay. So I'm sure you saw the title, Understanding Dopamine, like what that is, how to boost your brain power and elevate your mood. And so I'm just going to start with a personal story. But before I go into my story, let's do some housekeeping. If you are catching me live, please put a flame in the comments. And if this is the replay for you, put a purple heart down below. But I'm going to start with a question. You may have seen it in the description. Do you feel like your brain is in a fog? Like it literally went on break and like never returned. Like it just checked out. Same friend. So I started noticing some cognitive issues maybe around 41, but really it came to a head for me for 42 years old. I'm 43 now, but I was seriously concerned because I was forgetting what I was saying mid-sentence. I knew things, but I couldn't remember them. It's like, have you ever had a moment where you know something, but in that moment, you can't remember it for the life of you? And that was happening to me over and over again. And it was honestly scary. But more than that, every single day, I was crashing at 1 p.m., reaching for sugar, more caffeine, needing a nap. Every day like clockwork, it was like my to-do list just kept getting pushed to the side, and I was really struggling. And this was impacting every area of my life, the way I treated my kids, my business. I mean, just everything was impacted because I just didn't have the brain power. I didn't have the brain function. I was losing my motivation in the middle of the day to get anything done. And it was just awful. It was so awful. So tonight we're going to talk about why dopamine levels decline as we age and what you can do about it. But not just that, but what is dopamine? Why is it so important? In fact, if you know about dopamine, put the word dopamine in the comments. I'm curious to see how many of you know anything about dopamine. I'll tell you this, like I've always known that dopamine was like that on switch. And so I have tried many different things to just get that turnover in my brain, but nothing was working. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about how your lifestyle choices could be impacting your dopamine levels and your brain function, how to reclaim your mental clarity and motivation, right? Because we can't go on like this. Am I right or am I right? Yes or yes in the chat. So I'm going to give you some practical tips to help you boost your brain power and dopamine. And then we're also going to talk about how bioactive precision peptides can help support that, how they've helped me with my dopamine and serotonin levels. And so I'll share my personal transformation with that as well. Okay, so first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube at Grow with Jana B. We do a Money Monday, a Wellness Wednesday, and a Faith-Filled Friday. I also want you to subscribe to my newsletter so you can get anti-aging tips delivered daily. You can get devotionals and financial tips as well delivered to your emails. So you can just drop the word email in the chat and I'll make sure you get subscribed to my newsletter. You'll get 2 free gifts upon subscribing. So hope to have you for that. Okay. So let's talk about dopamine. First of all, dopamine is a neurotransmitter. So it's brain. Okay. But it's really considered like the feel-good transmitter, and it's responsible for things like mood regulation, focus and concentration, motivation and drive, memory, and learning. So you might have heard those and you might have thought, oh my gosh, like I must really not be having any dopamine because I'm struggling with all those. My friend, I struggled big time to the point where like I was considering going to the doctor. But we're going to talk about how dopamine naturally starts to decline in your late 30s and 40s. And here are some signs. Well, you can probably already guess. Actually, I want you to put in the comment box below, put in the chat below, what are some signs that you could be experiencing dopamine decline? Put it in the chat. Brain fog, mood swings, lack of motivation, hello, memory lapses, and afternoon crashes. Literally in this moment right now that I'm saying this out loud, I feel closer to you than I ever have, because I know that we are in the same aging boat together. And I know that you and I, amongst thousands upon thousands of women in their 40s, are feeling the effects of this. And personally, I feel like it perhaps bothers you more than maybe a little extra pounds, a few extra pounds, right? Like, I feel like this right here is such a problem amongst us that we can start talking about it. Number one, start understanding more about it. And I want you to know from my heart to yours, you're not lazy. You're not depressed. Nothing is wrong with you. You're not losing your mind. Okay. I want you to think of a train that's just gotten off of its tracks a little bit. Okay. We're going to fix this together and we're going to thrive together. I want to give you hope, because I know that if I was so concerned about my brain to the point where I was going to see a doctor, that possibly you have considered that, or maybe you've gone to see one already. But I just want to encourage you in this moment right now that you're fine. Nothing is wrong with you. And you are going to walk away from this live being so confident and excited that, because I'm going to give you solutions. Okay. So let's talk about, if you're excited, smash the heart button, or, put some confetti in the comment box. Let's talk about first and foremost why dopamine declines as we age, among so many other things that happens as we age, right? Well, what happens is we suffer neuron loss. As we age, we naturally lose dopamine producing neurons, which are not replaced. Just happens. Just like muscle. You're going to lose muscle as you age. There's nothing we can do. Well, actually, there's a lot we can do about it, but I'm just saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen regardless. We can't stop it, right? Also, inflammation, chronic inflammation from poor diet, stress, or autoimmune conditions can damage dopamine pathways. And I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but I talk about stress and how we as women, especially when we're in perimenopause, menopause, we can be so focused on trying to keep our waistline in check that we over exercise, or we stress our bodies out. Okay. So anytime you have stress in your cells, it's going to cause inflammation. Okay. So we got to make sure and get that down. We'll talk about that later. And again, this goes right into what I was about to say is oxidative stress. Like oxidative stress, when your cells are oxidized, this means when your cells are not healthy. Free radicals can accelerate the breakdown of dopamine. My friends, the health of your cells is so, so, so important. And you've got trillions of them. And there's so many things that we're doing to that damage those cells. And so then when you pair that on top of aging, it's like, oh my God, no wonder our brains are in the shape that they're in. And this wasn't in my notes, but it's a tip that I learned from a friend of mine. And you may already have done this, I don't know, but I want you to eliminate all plastic right now. from your kitchen. No plastic cups, no plastic bowls, no Tupperware, like all that. There was a study done recently where there was bits of plastic found in people's blood. Like, that's going to affect your brain function, right? And so anyway, that's just a side note, get rid of all the plastic. But then there's also, of course, hormonal changes, which we just talked about, especially for us women. When we have shifts in estrogen levels, that can affect dopamine receptors. So listen, some things we can't control. We can't control the fact that we're aging, and we can't control the hormonal changes that are going to happen in our body as a result of age, but we can do a lot of things to support that and combat the side effects. Okay. If you're excited, drop some confetti in the chat. We're going to go right into now, like, lifestyle choices, because lifestyle choices you can control, my friend. And some of you may not like this first one really quick, but I want to ask before I go into it, drop into the comment box, what are some lifestyle choices that you think could negatively impact dopamine? What are some lifestyle choices that you believe can negatively impact dopamine? We've already talked about one, stress, but what are some others that you can think of? This is the big one. Alcohol use. Alcohol, what it'll do is it'll initially boost dopamine. So you'll get that feel-good sensation. But what happens is if you frequently use alcohol, it will deplete dopamine stores and damages the receptor sensitivity over time. It is awful. And the cycle of dependence on it can create that, like, chasing the high, and it just depletes your brain health. Now, listen, praise the Lord, by his love, grace, and mercy, I have not had a drop of alcohol since June 23rd, 2018. But I can look back and I can think, wow, I know why every time I would drink, it would motivate me to go do something crazy. It was like I was getting this rush of dopamine, that go-getter, right? And then you wake up the next day and you're just like dead, right? And what happened, I want you to think of it like this way. Think of it like this is your baseline level of dopamine. You've got a baseline level. What happens when you drink? It goes up. And then whenever you come off the alcohol, it goes below baseline. That's what I'm saying. It damages the receptor sensitivity over time. It goes up and then it goes below baseline. It goes up. In fact, I want you to listen to Andrew Huberman at hubermanlab.com or on Spotify, YouTube. He actually does a whole podcast on dopamine. And anyway, it's fantastic. So highly recommend you check that out. But you want to make sure, my friends, that you please avoid alcohol at all costs. Like, it's just awful. Anyway, next lifestyle factor is sugar consumption. That dopamine spike that sugar causes, it's similar to a drug-like hit. And so oftentimes what happens is, yes, you'll get that little like sugar high, but then it's the kind of the same effect as alcohol. It'll lead to cravings, dependency. It worsens brain fog and mood swings. And literally, I mean, sugar consumption is linked to early onset Alzheimer's. It's just bad. The average American consumes 17 teaspoons of sugar a day, which is like 70 grams of sugar per day. I personally have eliminated it completely from my diet since April 2nd. I have had probably, okay, I can't say completely eliminated because I had a brownie on Easter, and then Mother's Day I had some cake. But aside from that, I haven't had any sugar. Now I'll tell you, prior to making the decision to really take my brain health serious and avoid sugar, like I was probably, I mean, there is sugar in everything. They're putting sugar in peanut butter, you name it, right? So prior to that, I was probably hitting that average 70 grams of sugar per day. And it just screws your brain. And so when I got off processed foods and really got serious about eliminating sugar, I could tell my brain, it was like, man, they're just, you go through a detox period, but it's so worth it. So anyway, just that constant sugar, it can lead to a dopamine crash requiring like more sugar. So anyway, again, it's this kind of the same thing as alcohol. You get that burst and then it goes below baseline. Get that burst and below baseline. Another lifestyle factor that can impact dopamine is sleep. If you got poor sleep, sleep deprivation reduces dopamine receptor sensitivity big time. And it makes it harder to feel good even like when you have dopamine. So literally, my friends, prioritize your sleep. There's so much that happens on a cellular level during sleep that you need. It also regulates your cortisol levels, okay? And that causes weight gain. If you have high cortisol, you're not going to lose weight effectively. And so when you don't have enough sleep, that cortisol stays high. I say this, if you are waking up to an alarm clock, my friend, you are not getting enough sleep. Put the word alarm in the comment box if you wake up to an alarm every day. You want to wake up naturally. That's your body will tell you it's done when that happens. So just personal story, I sleep with an eye mask on and I sleep with a sound machine because I don't want anything waking me up. I want to naturally wake up. And I do. I naturally wake up every day between 7 and 7:30 without fail. I don't need an alarm. If I have to be somewhere at 8, I know I'm going to wake up on time, which that's rare. I have to be anywhere at 8. But I'm just saying that's how you know if you've had enough sleep. In fact, what is your average hours of sleep? Put that in the comments. Now listen, and truth be told, this is real talk. The older we get, the more sleep we need. Women our age, I'm 43 now. Women our age we need at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Hey, listen, I didn't make the rules. I know that sucks, but it's true. So you're going to have to go to bed early. Make sure you're cutting the screens out, or you can get yourself some, I have these, oh wait, I think they're over there. I was going to say, I have these glasses that I wear at night if I want to watch like a basketball game, and they literally help produce melatonin. They kind of like lull you to sleep. Anyway, they're great. Did I say produce melatonin? Is that even possible? They help regulate your circadian rhythm. Maybe that's a thing with the melatonin. I don't know. But anyway, all I know is it's bad for you to look at screens late at night. You can't shut your brain off, and these glasses help with all that. So anyway, moving on. Okay, man, guess what? You got to start moving your body. A sedentary lifestyle, physical inactivity will also reduce dopamine receptor activity. So you got to make sure you're moving. Exercise stimulates dopamine production and increases the receptor sensitivity. Okay. So now this doesn't mean you need to start running and lifting crazy weights. If you saw my post yesterday, you already know that, unless you're using my cortisol dropping powder, you don't want to stress your body out too much, because that can have that can have negative impact on your body. So you want to make sure you're at least just moving. So for me, I get about 8,000 steps a day. I got a walking pad. I do, work out for 30 minutes, but the walking pad really just helps just keep moving. And I love, love, love to check that box and get that done. That's also what helps kind of produce that dopamine, is when you are able to check the box. So that leads me into practical ways that you can boost your dopamine naturally. We just talked about it. Exercise. Just walk. That's it. Like, just walk. And my recommendation is go outside. Try to be outside as much as you possibly can. Getting that first sun, getting the sun in the morning, I love it. Every morning when I get up, I walk out onto my patio and I look right into the sun. I'm like, yes, that sunlight will give you some dopamine. But make sure you're moving your body. Come here, Bean. Make sure you're moving your body. Hey, girlfriend. Okay. Move your body. Next, please, for the love of Jesus, make sure you get rid of the sugar, but eat foods rich in tyrosine. Tyrosine is dopamine's building block. This is almonds, eggs, lean meat, bananas, dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, dark chocolate. I love it. Almonds, eggs, lean meat, bananas, and dark chocolate. And then I just mentioned it, but also sunlight exposure. Getting 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight each day, that also boosts dopamine and balances your circadian rhythm, which we just talked about. So I've got my desk right here, my computer, and then I've got natural light. Man, my recommendation is I want you to start using as much real natural light as you possibly can. I cannot stand artificial lights. The kids, they're like, okay. Every time they turn on the big light, I'm like, no big lights. I'm like, please, let's just get the sun in here. And then, of course, healthy sleep habits. Deep, restful sleep regenerates dopamine receptors. And then my favorite, honestly, next to sunlight exposure, and then I'm going to give you a bonus one, but also positive thoughts and mindfulness activities. Set a goal each day. Listen, I have this mentality, and if you've been following me for a while, you know this. My mentality is approach the throne before you turn on your phone. So in the morning, I'll journal. Thank you, Lord, for my children. Thank you, Lord, for my business. Thank you for my customers. That literally, I just go into gratitude, and it feels good. And then I have my to-do list. And another way to boost your dopamine is to check those boxes. But you might be thinking, well, gosh, Jana, I'm not motivated to check my boxes. Well, then you might need a little bit of help. So we're going to talk, now we're just going to transition into how do bioactive precision peptides help with dopamine and get you that on switch. So again, I'll be honest with you, friend. I was doing these things. I was trying so hard, except for probably the sugar. I don't think I was trying that hard with the sugar. But I was exercising. I was trying to eat right, definitely not drinking, doing my gratitude, getting the sunlight. But I was still struggling every day, taking vitamins. I was trying, using supplements, just trying to get through the day. So you might find that you're doing all these things, but you're still struggling. If you are, you need to lean into this and listen, okay? The day that I tried these peptides, all right, I'm going to introduce you to two of them. The first day that I tried these, I'll be honest with you, okay? I did not get too excited, and here's why. Because in my 15 years of using supplements, I know that they always work great the first time. But I'm not going to lie to you. I really, really, really freaking loved how I felt. Oh my gosh. Within a few minutes, I was literally, my mood lifted. My brain was so happy. And I got more done in that afternoon than I had in 3 days. I was like a machine, going, crushing my to-do list, feeling great, not reaching for more caffeine, not reaching for sugar, didn't need a nap, had clean energy through the day. It was just amazing. And ever since I started in November, they still work just as good every single time. I went from daily crashes and fog to just crushing my day with these two. So let's talk about them really quick. First off, you might be like, well, what is a peptide? Well, in essence, a peptide is a short chain amino acid. Okay. It's really all it is. But What we have done with Make Wellness is we have used AI technology to locate specific peptides in nature that will work with us. Now, you have peptides already in your body. You already have them in your body. So what these do is they literally unlock certain doors in your body that are shut. So for example, if your brain is not functioning correctly, and the door is shut and locked, the peptides are the key that will literally unlock that part of your body, whether it be, your brain, your body's ability to drop body fat, your stress levels. Like, we have peptides for an array of things, but this one in particular boosts dopamine, and it improves mood and balances cortisol without the caffeine jitters. It's incredible. I just put it in water every day between 1 and 3 p.m. I call it peptide o'clock. It's like, I can already tell when things start to decline. I'm like, oh, yep, it's about that time for the peptide. So love this. I just put it in 8 ounces of water, and it tastes like blue raspberry. It's fantastic. It also helps with vitality. I just love that word. And energy. So, I mean, who wouldn't want more vitality, more energy, be in a better mood, right? Have more motivation and excitement every day. Literally, I just get so excited and ready to crush my day whenever I put this in my body. And then for extra boost, extra measure, because I don't know if you're like me, but I am an overachiever, and I'm like, hey, give me more. If it'll help me, give me more. So this actually enhances memory, mental clarity, and supports long-term brain health. It actually improves your brain's ability to retain information. So it boosts your neuroplasticity so you can learn new things and retain those things. When you put these two together, and by the way, this is only 1 per day. So I have a friend who has a cute face. She says 2 blue by 2. 2 blue by 2, because this is a blue drink and this is a blue pill. 2 blue by 2. So when you put these two together, my friend, you are literally unstoppable. I feel like I visited the Tin Man. I'm sorry. I feel like I visited the Wizard in the Wizard of Oz and got a new brain. I was thinking Wizard of Oz and Tin Man came to mind. Hey, you know what? This thing works. It's bringing back all the characters. It's bringing back all the characters. But these are non-injectable peptides. They're simple to use. They're effective, and they're all natural. So if you're like me and you've tried all the things and your brain still ain't back on the train track, drop the word peptide in the comments, and I'll make sure and hook you up with how you can get started. And then also know that this month I'm giving 5% of my earnings to Bay Area Turning Point Women's Shelter. And you can also get entered to win $300. It's super simple to order. And then of course, like I said, you're going to get entered to win the drawing, and I can get you 10% off and free shipping as well. So just comment below peptide or message me if you would like to reclaim your brain. Reclaim your brain. All right. Also, drop any questions that you have in the chat, and I'll be sure and get with you and answer those. But I just want to thank you so much for hopping on to this Wellness Wednesday. I hope I see you on Friday for Faith-Filled Friday. If you got value from this, drop the word value down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter. You can either put the word news in the comment box, or you can check the link in my bio. Have a great day, friend. Talk to you later. Bye.